Hello, guys. Thank you for joining us back today. As I said, we were going to go back to going live and we were going to go back to trigger warning for this episode. This episode is going to be extremely graphic, what is going to be discussed. This further corroborates what we just spoke to the LAPD commissioners meeting about, talking about the mandated reporters or lack thereof in Scientology. So these are other independent accounts that have been on the record that pretty much, it doesn't get worse than what is going to be discussed here, you guys. So this does come with a very, very, very highest trigger warning, because I know we discuss a lot in my channel about these abuses, but this is from an ex-executive talking about the ritual abuse in Scientology. And this completely goes to further highlight how this abuse goes back to the very beginning of Scientology. This abuse goes back to the very beginning of how Scientology was operating, and it further corroborates exactly what we just exposed today. Hello, C. Thank you for joining us again. Hello, Scientology Audit Ottawa. Thank you, Kate. Okay, you guys, well, hold on to your seats because we're gonna get right to the point here, okay? We're gonna react to this.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for this opportunity.
So she's talking about Hubbard's early abuses. This is a woman that worked hand in hand with L. Ron Hubbard back in the day.
My name is Hannah Eltringham Whitfield. I was a Scientologist and a member of the SEAL organization for over 22 years. I captained 2 of Hubbard's ships and ran many of his organizations. And I'm speaking to offer some insights into Scientology. Of course, he said, a small child is really a big being in a child's body. He has returned into this life and he knows what he's doing.
So right away, I just want to react to this here. Do you see the ease of explaining what she just explained? Because I think we really have to highlight the ease into which Hannah just blurbs out a pitch, not almost seemingly aware of what she's almost saying. Because with that ease is how they were pitching these concepts to us as kids, right? They acted like they couldn't be more certain. They couldn't be more about whatever the pitch was, because at the end of the day, all this is a pitch. L. Ron Hubbard told all of them, let's really all pretend that children with real ages, with actual identifying markers, are not that, but they're exactly at our same level. Because it's not just that they were treating us as adults. Again, they're lumping us into this made up, delusional, pitched category from the convicted felon that everyone was supposed to go, oh, yeah, they're just thetans. So it's actually worse than just telling kids that they're adults. They're telling kids that they're the same. And there is no boundaries or limits or anything, because they really are taking it seriously. They really are taking it as far as you can go with that deranged belief.
It had become dangerous to have children on board, so children at that time were no longer being allowed on board. And women who became pregnant.
Again, here's how this woman It had become dangerous to have children on board. What was the danger, Hannah, to the children on board? Because it would be a lot more powerful if you actually spilled your withholds, build your out ethics, build your dones, instead of just coming here and going, it became dangerous to have children on board. Was Shelly Miscavige there at the time, Hannah? Was that one of those 12-year-old children that you were keeping on board? Because last time I checked with Reality Today, outside of the cult, Hannah, they call that trafficking, when you grab the kids and then you stuck them in a ship that you were running for L. Ron fucking Hubbard. It became dangerous to keep kids on board. No humanity, no apparent awareness that she very much knows what's behind that statement. Behind door number A, what type of child dangers were being had on a ship where kids were being trafficked across state lines, across seas, across all the boundaries available and possible to be done. But it's because they were doing dangerous things on that ship, you guys. They were doing dangerous RPFs. They were doing dangerous tortures. She probably meant liability. I mean, but my point is, like, for anyone can call a kid a liability. She's saying kids, it became dangerous to have kids. So what was the danger that these kids faced? Straight back to when L. Ron Hubbard was really running things, where these people go, oh, it was so great and wonderful when L. Ron Hubbard was really running it. And it all got spoiled when David Miscavige really did something here and something there. They're too stupid to understand the source of the problem is their first daddy figure, degenerate of degenerates, convicted felon L. Ron Hubbard, Charles Manson on steroids, and then some. Given the fact that they weren't put on a mission to go, do whatever in the hell those people did, but, they were put on a mission to do all manner of other stuff that they never get into what they were doing to their kids. They would never really get into the dangers that it really posed, right? They just say, oh, it was so dangerous. I noticed that it was dangerous. So what was so dangerous about it? Really do tell. Because this is giving part of the withhold, but not the literal rest.
Did not want to be sent off the ship, so they chose in some cases to have the abortions, and in some cases Hubbard ordered his aides to have abortions.
Ordered. So the American bred God felon ordered, says the woman that was helping him here start his racket very early on. One of his first enablers, willing all about it, because she ain't telling you all that there is to the withhold. She's telling you the short story, the thing she practiced under L. Ron Hubbard. Oh, let's really pitch it like this to sanitize your image real quick. They're so good at sanitizing their image, you guys, because they always know that no one would even have a clue that this soft voice lady was at the very, very top next to the convicted felon that was transporting kids in ships. Send these kids over there, send those kids over there, send that 8-year-old over there. Really put that 12-year-old to really interrogate that other adult. Doesn't matter. They're all Thetans. Doesn't matter. Like, that's what we're talking about here. This is actionable corroboration of what what in the hell this is.
We now move a little bit forward to the Fort Harrison Hotel.
We move forward to the Fort Harrison Hotel. So she really didn't tell us that much of what actually did happen at the ship. But we do know that if we actually have the questions, such as what were the dangers faced that made them go, oh, we really shouldn't have them here because it's going to get dangerous for us if we get caught with having flapped what? Because Scientology only manages crises. They don't give an F. They have no conscience. They just go, what could be a problem for us in terms of perception? That's the only guiding light. I know it's hard to believe that someone could be that inhuman. It's hard to believe that someone could be that possessed, psychopathic, self-righteous, and they claiming that they're saving our world this way. So just so you see the dishonesty, the intellectual level of dishonesty of these people that play Little Miss Patty Cake, gonna really cook some cookies and really gonna save our world the other second that I can.
To 1975, 76, 70, the 70s, and into the 80s.
Moving now with the kids to the hotel, you guys. So for any of you that for the 10 millionth time tell me, Serge, why do you say the hotels? The Fort fucking Harrison Hotel that operates as a full-blown hotel. People come in, bring their luggage, go to a reception, grab their key to their room, take the elevator, bring their suitcase, go upstairs, have an underage maid come do their little bed in the morning from some other country. They don't give an F. She's a Sea Org member. She volunteered for this. We were told she's on a mission to save our world by making beds. The 12-year-old made that choice, right, Scientology? Right, Hannah? That's the type of choices the underage maids were doing when they were all brought to the hotel.
The nursery, the children's nursery, was a terrible place for children. It was never clean. It always smelled of urine. The babies were left crying in urine-soaked cribs.
The kids were left crying in urine-soaked cribs. What year did Hannah just mention she's referring to? What's that period, guys? Yes, she means the late 70s. Now, imagine that she's speaking about the Fort Harrison Hotel, the Mecca, the top, the best. Imagine that I was born in Scientology, not at the Mecca of Scientology, in Mexico. The cribs were full of urine. No one was changing the babies. The babies were all left to fend for themselves in a huge communal space. In Mexico, they had dog training facilities. That's what that used to be. They put the kids where the dogs used to be. Everything with urine, feces, no adults coming and checking on you, neglected AF. Mexico was worse than the Fort Harrison. The Mexican cadet org was worse than the American one. That's how we were left. As babies, we were left in feces and soaked in pee. That was the level of care of the Scientology mothers. that couldn't have been, they were just saving a world. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me, 2-year-old. You're a Thetan. You're a big being. Get your ethics in. That's how they're speaking to the kids. That's how they're always speaking to the kids. Since they're this small, it doesn't matter. They're already grooming their words from the very, very beginning, from the very, very get-go. They're giddy about it. They actually share it with each other. Oh, yeah, I'm really doing some audits on my kid. He's really winning. He's really doing great. They say it with a straight face. Just like this woman you see here, that she wants to be who's Susie the homemaker.
And there was one baby found dead that I know of personally.
And there was one baby that was found dead that I know of personally. Here's the admissions. Here's a woman that admitted to knowing a baby was dead in those nurseries. How do you personally know that a baby died? And then what in the F did you do when you personally found out that a baby died? Because that would have been a great time to start, waking the F up, sounding an alarm, going to the LAPD commissioner meeting that you could have been attending, a few decades ago, raising the hell that needed to be raised, that apparently no one wants to raise because they're all too pressed to God know what in the F. Not come clean. Admittedly, not come clean. They just want to come sit here and sell their cacamimi stories. Oh, we really want to tell people about this. And it's all incomplete withholds, and they know it. They know what they're hiding. They know what they're not wanting to say. They know how they're going to pitch. They know what they want to come across as. They know how to put their reality together. That's how Scientology was really teaching them. Oh, just come across like this. Just pitch yourself like that. And, really have a lot of things that you could really create reality. So then, their affinity rises for you, and then they're going to start loving you, and then they're going to call you, oh my God, you're so great and you're so wonderful. Meanwhile, this woman knows that a baby died at the Cadero. Great. Got it. Wonderful. Amazing. Why didn't anyone do anything about it?
Judy, baby found dead that I know of personally. Urine-soaked cribs. It was never clean. It always smelled of urine. The children's nursery was a terrible place for children.
It wasn't a nursery. Again, they try and cutesify everything, you guys. Oh, we were at a ranch. You were in a dilapidated, disgusting place that should have never really existed. In what world were just hundreds of underage kids dumped there to fend for themselves, to haul rocks, like Jenna was saying today at the police commissioner meeting, hauling rocks and digging trenches. Why are 8-year-olds hauling rocks and digging trenches? What Scientology parent wants to pretend I never got the CC that they were hauling rocks and digging trenches? Bullshit. They like that. They put their kids to haul rock and dig trenches, and very much on brand with who is it? Oh yeah, Jody Hildebrandt and Ruby Frankie. That's for your own good. You're going to be very productive, and you know what? Production is going to raise your morale. And you know what? If you really haul a lot more rocks next week, guess what? You're going to be even happier. That's what the Scientology mothers told the girls, Jenna, Laura, all of them. They get told the more rocks you haul, the more your morale will be up. Imagine telling that to a child. First of all, you force them. This wasn't like, oh, voluntary haul a rock if you really want to. If you really want to play with a rock and do what you want. No, grab that rock, take it from there to there. And if you don't do that, then we're going to come down on you and we're going to start punish you and we're going to do horrific things. So here's this woman saying that this was a nursery. Turns out that they were in a nursery, you guys. Oh, isn't that so cutesy? They're cutesifying their disgusting installations where they were doing all of this abuse of kids and knowing all about it. I mean, imagine that you really have a woman that worked right next to L. Ron Hubbard that knew that a baby died.
It was never clean. It always smelled of urine. The babies were left crying in urine-soaked cribs. And there was one baby found dead that I know of personally.
Who was it, Hannah? That would be great for you to set on the record. Who in the literal living hell was that baby that you know of personally? And how personally did you know it? I mean, did you see it happen? Did you see it happen? How did you know? Did you see the body? How were you told? Because that would be great for you to, write an essay and write a book and write a whole bunch of affidavits on how the Scientology executives got informed, told, CC'd, given videotapes, giving transcriptions, given every single last piece of criminal damning evidence you could possibly ever compile via a PC folder, via a video recorded session that was being done 24/7 at Flag when we were there. I imagine not at your time, Hannah. Maybe at that time when you were just doing the contemporaneous notes. But y'all were all about the videotapes. When no one else was using videotapes, Scientology was using videotapes. When nobody else was really using video recordings like VHS to like really do that for your family, that was like a very selective thing. And in Scientology, all the rooms already had cameras. Like this was all part of the drill. Back in the 80s, like you couldn't finish a course in Scientology if your video wasn't watched. But never mind that none of this shit is ever spoken about because apparently
Judy Light, a very, very good friend of mine whose own baby was in that nursery, told me later on that she had seen more than one dead baby.
your very, very, very good friend. You mean your co-conspirator, it sounds like. I mean, in what type of straight face can you say, my very good friend told me that you guys had a conversation about babies died? In what was it? Oh yeah, urine cribs. So they just like died there in urine. And what? You just talked and you say, yeah, oh no, you know what? I knew of even one more than you. Huh. Like with a straight face. She's calm, she's cool, she's collected, she's not pressed. She's thankful that she's being allowed to literally say this with a straight face and no one can see behind her cookie cutter granola. I'm a grandmother. Really have a lot of patience and grace for what? What in the literal F did you all normalize at an industrial size scale? What in the literal F do you mean that your friend told you that she knows of another baby that is dead? And you guys are just having casual conversations about babies dying that you knew Scientology were just dying there? Because, here's where we're going to get to the law enforcement part, you guys. To again corroborate everything we've read about in law enforcement's commission meeting today. That the Scientology parents all know, that the Scientology executives all know. They all know. But they just want to be treated like they're infantile babies. You have to be really careful and soft with them. You have to tell them, oh, you little poor thing. Was L. Ron Hubbard really, telling you lies and you were never able to spot anything? Have you regained your conscience, your awareness, since? Have you given an F about the real crimes? Or are you just still like, talking to your bestie? So yeah, remember when that baby died? Back when we were saving our world next to that convicted felon? How did it feel? How did it feel to, write down on that little report? Oh, yeah, dear sir. That's how they would start all the little reports. Oh, dear sir, A baby died. Oh, and my friend just told me that two also died.
Judy lives in Seattle.
How did they?
Judy lives in Seattle. Well, nice to know that the lady that, is somehow complicit in knowing, who knows to what goddamn extent she knows. Did she witness? Did she see it? I mean, y'all definitely know, as you're giving in this testimony here, Hannah, you're saying that kids and babies were left in urine cribs. Great. Great to know that. And then the ones that were found dead, how were they found? What happened exactly? Because you know what, guys? I've already told you. I was drinking pain thinner when I was 5 years old. So don't act shocked. Don't act shocked. That's what they were doing. That's what they were having us exposed to. That's when we were getting abused the worst. But this woman is casually just
Covered up? Why didn't the police come in and investigate why those babies died? Babies that don't die every day. That's
The babies were often left unattended because there's always a shortage of staff.
oh, good. Oh, good to know. You see, guys, just a shortage of staff and babies turn up dead in urine and feces. And why wasn't the police called, says this guy almost casually too. I mean, I cannot get over the casualness of this interview. I just saw it for the first time ever. Literally, I could not believe that this woman had done a video about two babies dying right when I would have been dead in Mexico. Imagine the exact same period that she's talking about. Oh, the Fort Harrison in the late 70s. Well, I was born then. I almost died then. And here I am denouncing her blasé attitude, talking about how, yeah, she really knew about this one dead and the other one dead. Admitting to it. Why weren't the cops called? Oh, because there was always a shortage of staff. Like, how can you talk about having a shortage of staff and that's why babies died? So in her mind, she's like, well, if we would have just had more people trying to save our world, then we would have dedicated more babysitters. And then those two babies that couldn't feed themselves, clean themselves, they couldn't act as adults. See, I told you they take it far, these people. I told you they take it far, AF, and then some.
I was asking why aren't they dying, but why didn't the police investigate? I mean, those are deaths.
The police were never told about those deaths.
Oh, it's not great. The police were never told about those deaths. So we now know that at least two babies died that the police was never told about. So what did they do, Hannah? They just dump them on a river and then no one found them ever again? What was done with the body? Talk about mandated reporters. Where the F were the mandated reporters? These people cannot report on themselves because these people are deranged as fuck. They have no scruples. They have no conscience. They don't give an F. They're on a power trip from hell, compliments of their daddy figure, L. Ron Hubbard. Doesn't get simpler than that, LAPD. For all of you that are watching, if you're not watching our videos, start CCing each other and start sending our videos so you all start learning what in the F we're denouncing and how pathetic your department has been, apparently, in also not being told when two babies died in Scientology. Oh, but don't worry about it. Didn't she say that it was when it gets dangerous to have the children, then they stop, right? That's how they got them off of the ship and brought them to land, to the Fort Harrison and to here and to the Mexico place. So yeah, no, they're not doing the cadet org anymore. Yeah, and then we found the evidence of videotapes of cadets, just a few lives ago. I mean, if y'all would just literally do your fucking job, everything could really get resolved. But so far we know now from this woman that there's 2 babies unaccounted for. Their bodies were never reported to the police. Nobody ever called. You know what? It doesn't matter what in the F these people do. They always find a way to wash it away. They all help each other, knowing what each other is doing and thinking, coordinating thereby and therewith. That's why they don't come clean. That's why they never say what they did. That's why they always pretend they're whistleblowing and they're blowing hot smoke up their own ass.
I don't know how those little bodies were disposed of.
Oh, good. So you weren't looped into those details. How are we going to dispose of those bodies? How are we going to dispose of those little bodies? I mean, their Thetan already floated, you guys. For any of you that really wanted to mourn those babies that, you know, better luck next lifetime, they've already floated. This is the level of criminal that we're talking about. For all you want to cutesify them and go, oh, they're just grannies and they didn't know what in the hell they're talking about. In what world did they know that we're disposing of little bodies? And then Hannah said, you know what? Don't CC me on that one. Do me a solid. Just don't give me that CC. But he died. He's dead. Is he in a urine neglected because we didn't have enough staff members? Well, how about you didn't give them the mothers? How about you rip the babies and the mothers? How about the mothers were so pressed to really want to save a world that they dumped their baby there and they didn't give an F, because that's the type of deadbeat mother a Scientology mother becomes. Maybe our mothers weren't going to be that deranged, that unthinkable, maybe they would have stood a chance. But you know what? Once L. Ron Hubbard had his way with them, they stood no chance. They became the same drone, clone, devoid of common sense, devoid of critical thinking skills, devoid of any maternal instincts, putting their kids in clear and present danger and purporting that it's them who are saving a world, playing a game, whatever deranged, disgusting lie they told themselves, whatever delusion they got, they were stone cold sober. So for all of you that want to go, oh, but people can really do bad things and they can really be forgiven, these people were stone cold sober as they were, you know, CCing each other and where we're going to dispose the little bodies. But don't worry about it. She wasn't told where the body was disposed. But, you know, who knows where the body was disposed, Mike Rinder? Did you know that? Because weren't you back in that day all up in OSA's business, setting it all up? Brokering the whole GO-OSA movement? So were you ever told of these babies, and how were they disposed of the bodies? And who at OSA was told how they were disposing of the bodies? Who's the degenerate that did that? Who?
And while I was in Scientology, I never chose to look into it.
And while I was in Scientology, she never chose. No, you made a choice. Let's be clear here. You, grown-ass adult woman that you are, in your granny era, we don't give an F about your granny era. You were there making choices as a grown-ass woman. And you made all the wrong choices. You said, well, Hubbard is my daddy figure and I really need to do whatever in the F he tells me. You shouldn't have been doing that. And you should have by now realized that you should have been a little more pressed and not just like, oh, let me read my little list of the withholds that you want to get off. How convenient for all of these Scientology parents to always go, let me really select here from my list of things. Oh yeah, I can tell you about a baby that I never chose to look into. With what type of straight face can these people, who in their living mind finds out a baby died? And then you go, okay, but don't tell me anything about it anymore. We're like, what? A baby died? Like what this guy said, the one interviewing her, well, babies don't die all the time. Like what's going on? Like, but no, she's like, oh yeah, but there's not enough staff. Like she just goes into and gives a complete non sequitur answer. I mean, again, this guy couldn't have lasted in Scientology interrogating anybody for 1 second because everything would have just gone past his head These people cannot confront evil. They cannot pull strings. They cannot see past their MF nose. That's what we're having to bypass the LAPD and all the people that continue making it about a million things other than 2 babies right now we know are unaccounted for. 2 bodies were literally disposed of in the city of Los Angeles, and the LAPD is completely clueless. That we know of, that's been admitted here. How long has this video been up? I think 14 years, you guys. I think it has 1,000 views or some ridiculous like low number here. What is it? Where's the views? 97 likes, 20,000 views. 14 years ago. 14 years ago. This has been out. The cat's been out of the literal bag, but everybody's pretended, oh, no, nobody knows. Nobody knows anything. Everything is great. Everything is wonderful.
And there were other children back to the nursery. There were other children from...
Oh, yeah, back to the nursery. I mean, here's how I know. I mean, again, you guys, they didn't train me there to be an interrogator, not to interrogate this woman and not to see how she is trying to assert herself. They call that in Scientology because over the communication and really guide it. They teach them all the tricks, how to lie, how to come across like a granola woman, how to speak and make it sound all wishy-washy and all sweetness and light and everything is great and wonderful because they train them to speak in PR. And they know like this or that, how to be in PR and how to be out PR. They can be out PR at the hotel. Between themselves, they're talking themselves without any problems, right? They're telling them who did the out to D on who did the blowjob on who. They want to know like that. They want to say like that. They're crass as fuck. They swear a lot. They say the F word every other 2 words. So when we fucking swear, realize that that's how they were speaking to us at the hotel. Like every other word was fuck this, fuck that. You're fucking out ethics. The fucking baby's dead. And now you're fucking gonna make us lose our cult. That's how they were seeing it. Oh, you created a flap. Now we have to go dispose of the body. The little bodies. The little tiny bodies, as she did tell us here.
I never chose to look into it.
So she never chose. So now that's clear too. How many choices are these adults making? A lot. A lot of choices is what adults do. That's what's called adulting. You make choices.
And there were other children back to the nursery. There were other children from anywhere from 3 to 9 years old, 10 years old, who as punishment, and again, I don't know punishment for what, were made to...
Bullshit. She just bullshitted there. And you know that she made that pause. You notice how she made that pause? Punishments. I don't know for what. Bullshit, Hannah. You are full of utter shit. Because they were non-compliant. Kids punished for being non-compliant. Because they were, creating too much developed traffic, because they were in treason, because they were in all the garbage pitched by the convicted felon to brand and label the kids fat. So for her to sit here and pretend, oh, I have no idea why the kids were getting punished, but they were getting punished between 3 and 9. 3 and 9. You're most vulnerable when you really don't know what in the hell, when your entire universe, your entire actual survival in the world depends on this level of deranged individual, like this woman has shown you here. They come across all, Susie, I'm going to really share you my granola and my cookies. But they couldn't be more devoid of like they're literal full-blown predators.
Pick lint off the carpet, the little bits of papers and things that stick on the carpet, for hours each day while they said, I'm glad to be in the Sea Organization, I'm glad to be in the Sea Organization, I'm glad to be in the Sea Organization.
Again, you guys, this is hours and hours. This is what Ruby Frankie got convicted for. Jody Hildebrandt. It's called aggravated child abuse. Scientology parents, go do yourselves a big fucking favor and start calling a criminal attorney that can, start describing just in a nutshell what constitutes aggravated child abuse according to the law. Doesn't matter that your hotel pitched it to you. Put that bone down. It's going to give you no defense. It's going to give you no alibi. It's going to give you no plausible deniability to continue to invoking your little bone that you're obsessed with, your little L. Ron Hubbard bone that you really go, oh, according to this bone, I can do whatever. Start facing the reality of what you've done. Because again, all of these adults that have had the ability to stop it, they have not stopped it. They have not denounced it. They have not come clean. They have not denounced the clear and present danger that kids actually today are in. Notice that's every time we go at the problem is to make that point, not being made strong enough, not being made done enough times to actually resolve something, to actually go a few steps where we know that there's any shred of guardrails being instituted as a result of what's being said, brought to the surface, force these people to actually do their job. This job cannot be just done by wishing it. People have to actually grab the weight and actually start moving their hands and their feet and everything else. Because right now, we know 2 babies are missing. 2 of these babies' bodies were disposed. Hannah, that's been all about talking about the public record. You know what? Would be great to start getting that on the record today. Who were those babies? What did you know? Who knew what? Who would have known that those babies were gone? Who would have done that, Hannah, when you were back in the day? Start naming the names, start naming time, place, form, and event, and come clean and put it in an affidavit this time. Stop writing in an OWs that you go get cleaned at a hotel. That is so stupid. That is so infantile of all of you that took those courses and decided, you know what we really should do in this little adult game that we all play? Write down all our crimes on pieces of paper and read it between each other and submit it to each other and get everyone involved, complicit up to your neck and ears. And speaking of complicity up to your neck and ears and more crimes against children, this is Astra Woodruff.
I was about 13, and there was a place called the Mace-Kingsley Ranch. It was in Palmdale, about 30 minutes outside of Los Angeles, and it was run.
And you see, guys, again, with the cute-sifying word, oh, it's the Mace-Kingsley Ranch. Doesn't that sound idyllic? When I was a kid, I used to remember going like, oh my God, if my parents could only afford to send me to the Mace-Kingsley Ranch, that would sound really great. That sounds like the place I want to be at, because you would see their pamphlets that they would send you and they would have all this like ranch and the house and everything looked like, again, everything was staged. But the Mace-Kingsley Ranch, and it's a literal decrepit space in Palmdale. It's actually what it was. So it wasn't this like idyllic ranch that they always pitch.
By a man named Wally Hanks.
That's the guy that was given unfeathered access to all the kids. Imagine being a mom and you see this man and you go, oh yeah, keep my daughter, my underage daughter here with this man. What type of mom would you have to be to really be that stupid and that disgusting? Be like, okay, 8-year-old, go to that ranch. Wally's going to take real good care of you.
Who was OT7. He was like one of the highest level Scientologists.
There you go. There you go, you guys. Like, these Scientology mothers are so unbelievably, disgustingly corrupt and stupid that they go, oh, he's OT7? Oh, well, you should have led with that. Here's my 5-year-old. Can I just, oh, I know I can trust you. I know you go get check that flag. I know you go get paid a lot of money. So you must be one of the highest, most ethically persons in the world because, you are part of this hotel. Yeah, here's my 5-year-old too. Take her with you. Do whatever you want to do. I mean, whatever. Like OT7, say no more. Say no more. And all the Scientology mothers dumped their daughters and their underage boys right at this Palmdale Ranch. Isn't that great that just a few miles away from Los Angeles, these people were transporting people outside of the jurisdiction of the LAPD that is so stupid that couldn't have ever found a van with kids moving around because they're that understaffed. They're that out of the loop. They're that out of patrolling nothing. Kids were being brought in and out of LA to Palmdale, willy-nilly being brought to this disgusting Wally guy.
He was very well known and revered.
Very well known and revered, you guys. We were told that ad nauseum in there. Our parents yelled at us, screamed at us, you're being out FO 38 to a high-ranking OT7. We didn't give an F about these people. They were weirdos. We could smell it. We could smell the danger. And our parents didn't want to believe it. They were just deluding themselves full time to not have to actually take responsibility for what in the F they were actually participating in willingly. A parent that dumps a kid in a ranch, what? Where's the, oh, I didn't know they were being dumped in a ranch. Then why didn't you know that they were being dumped in a ranch? Oh, but I was told they were there with an OT7, and who gives an F? Who literally gives an F about that word that you just made up? Because OT7 means nothing for all of you idiots that want to really go, oh, that really means a lot. It means a lot to you in your cult, in your pyramid hierarchy. That means absolutely nothing.
And he used to do briefings to people on how to handle their children. And a lot of the children at the Mace-Kingsley.
Don't worry about it, guys. This is a guy that was briefing the Scientologists on how to handle their children. So really make sure you caught that part.
Ranch were considered problem children. Their parents had gone into the Sea Org and they wouldn't go, or their parents were in Scientology.
Imagine that when I say kids cannot consent, imagine you were one of those little kids fighting for your life, knowing what type of level of abuse was waiting for you in that door of your parents joining the Sea Org. Imagine they labeled those the problem children, send them to Palmdale, outside of their jurisdictions of the idiots at the LAPD that have never given an F about the kids being trafficked all around their state anyways. So for all of you that were wondering, imagine being those little kids that said, I'll disconnect from my parents. I am not going there. I am not going to be in the Sea Org. I don't want to. And then they got it worse. They got it worse because then they were sent to a prison, a literal prison. What type of four-wall facility containing kids where their parents are not around, where their parents don't want said kids? Do you all get the part where the mothers were so pressed to impress their stupid friends at the hotel and be like, oh, yeah, look, I'm in the Sea Org. I'm going to really do a lot of missions. And don't you have an 8-year-old? Yeah, but he didn't want to come. You know what? We asked him and he said he didn't want to come. So, they hooked us up with the ranch over there at Palmdale. Yeah. The bus took him already and we said, hi, goodbye. We're going to save the world. And you go, go get handled by Wally because we hear he's very good at handling kids. We all go get advices from Wally on how to really take care of our kids. Doing briefings.
They didn't want to be in Scientology, or for one reason or another, they were considered a problem child. I never was sent there, but I had friends who were, and I went up to visit them a few times. Now, when I went up to visit them, I found out what happened was anyone who acted up, like a couple boys, a boy was found peeping in the girls' room, and just anytime you did something wrong, you were paddled. Wally was a very big man, and he had a paddle.
Look at the size of that degenerate. Scientologist OT7 Wally Hanks that would grab a paddle. I mean, I know you guys have seen that Laura, as she's shared so many painful times, the beatings that she got, that they would get undressed. These people would take their their shorts off and then start whacking them with a paddle. And yes, the boys were peeping on the girls' room. It's like these kids didn't belong together. There was no support system. Like the other disgusting lady already said, oh yeah, we really were understaffed. Well, Wally was willing to, really go to Palmdale and really make himself the one that was giving himself authority to whack kids without consequences. Zero consequences for him, for this gross, disgusting man that's like how much bigger than all the kids he was getting full access to.
He had a paddle, and all of us would sit around. This happened the first time I went up there to visit. Sit around on the sofa, and the person who's being paddled stood in the middle of the room, and Wally would paddle them with this paddle. It would make them cry.
So it was a ritual. It was a group humiliation ritual. Got it. It's giving Nexium on steroids. It's giving the grown women of Nexium that signed up for whatever in the hell disgusting bill of goods that disgusting Timu L. Ron Hubbard was really going around selling to those gross women, that he really got them to agree to be part of this. And then they went and did horrific things. And then, yes, they got a criminal conviction. But here we're talking about kids who didn't sign up to be part of DOS, who didn't consent to be part of DOS, who were being dumped there by Scientology parents that were, wanting to be part of the Sea Org. The ones that really want to save a world while their kids were getting humiliated by Wally, who would want an audience of kids, according to what Astra has already put on the public record, God knows how long ago. And imagine this has not re-stimulated any of the withholds of any of the executives that have left Scientology. Imagine they look at her and they go, oh yeah, but we were trying to all save a world after all. That's what they tell themselves. They were saving a world.
And then he would put a little notch on it for paddling them. And that was the punishment. In the evenings, he would build a bonfire and give all the girls and all the boys beer. I was 13 years old, 14, I think I was 13. Everyone had beer and got drunk.
The OT7 Scientologist was given a ranch in Palmdale with unfeathered access to kids who were dumped there by Scientology mothers and deadbeat fathers, combination or both, that were so pressed to not give an F about their kid that they left him with that degenerate. And then he got them drunk. This was all hosted in the state of California, across jurisdictions between the Palmdale PD and the LAPD, who never seen anything suspicious in any Scientology facility, never found anything to investigate anything, never saw any evidence to suggest anything. Where's the mandated reporters? Was this ranch in some hidden spot in some secret way to get there so no one could see nothing? Again, this was said 14 years ago. So what has happened since? Nothing. Zero. Nada. Cero.
I think the first night or the second night I was up there, I was sitting next to him and I had had a few beers, and so had he, and so had everyone else, and he put his hand on my shirt.
And he put his hand on my shirt. Because I also had a couple beers as a 13-year-old. But nothing to see here still, right? Like nothing has been violated. They were all having a religious experience for themselves. I mean,
and down my bra and started feeling me. And it really scared me. And I asked my friend later, I said, "What's Wally doing? Why did he do this?" And she said, "Oh, don't worry. He just does that with the girls. That's just what he does, but don't worry about it."
This guy's running the school?
Yeah, he ran it. From what I know, he owned it, and he definitely ran it.
he owned it. Ugh. He owned the school. He was getting paid. He was making some sort of money from this deal. It was getting brokered by Scientology. And Scientology parents were bringing their kids by the buckets to this trouble kid ranch that would get the kids drunk, that would provide alcohol to underage kids. And exactly what Astra just said, including not limited to filling her up when they both had a couple beers.
With his wife. Another night, he took us camping, and we went out and we had more beer, and we were camping. And once we'd all had a few drinks, he gave us guns to go.
He gave us beer and guns. I mean, not even Jeffrey Epstein did that. Not even P. Diddy did that. Not even. I don't know of another PDF file on record that anyone can find. I dare you to find them that owned a ranch where they profited off of the kids being dumped in said ranch and was taking kids out, getting them drunk, and giving them guns.
Practice shooting. So I sat in the dark with a flashlight and a gun.
To practice shooting in the dark. Why is a 13-year-old girl getting drunk and practicing shooting in the dark?
And practice shooting at like cans and thing after I'd had a few beers.
What
to
kind
drink.
of guns?
Just like handguns. Oh, and rifles.
I mean, we told you guys that in Scientology, they have a lot of guns. They're gun aficionados. Debbie Cook used to tell everybody, oh, you guys, you have no idea the type of guns we just got for the security force. We're going to be so protected. We're going to be so great. We're going to send them to a very special place where they're going to be taught how to fire all the guns. And you have no idea how wonderful and great this is. But here you're doing it, the gun culture on the 13-year-old girls that were being molested, that were being given beers. given beers to get them drunk. And guns.
Rifles. We did rifles earlier in the day before we drank, and then we did handguns in the evening.
Oh, rifles and handguns. So both.
That one time that he put his hand on my shirt was the only time he did that to me. But later on, when I was in the C organization, when I was the director of inspections and reports, I came across some reports on him. He had been found out that he'd been doing these things, but he had done a lot worse than what he'd done to me. He had really badly molested several girls.
How do you mean?
Like, felt down.
The Department of Inspections and Reports. In the Department of Inspections and Reports, what is being reported? Is there any mandated reporters there? Glad that y'all asked. No. Astra was not a mandated reporter. She didn't even know what a mandated reporter was. We were kept in the dark. That's how easy kids are to manipulate, for those that were wondering. For those that were, confused about, well, maybe kids cannot be manipulated. Many kids can make a lot of choices and decisions and consent to everything. Or maybe not. Jonathan, where is Wally? I believe he's already dead. I do believe that he's already dead, but I cannot confirm or deny. I really don't know. Somebody should Google that.
Felt down their pants and had them pee on his car or on someone's car. And just,
What do you mean, pee on the car?
He got off by seeing them pee on cars.
He got off on seeing them pee on cars. How old is Astra here? Again, you guys, we were over sexualized. These people made everything fair game to shove down our throats. There was no innocence to protect. There was no dignity to protect. We had no dignity. These people stripped us of any shred of dignity. They exposed us to their disgusting game that is indefensible on its face. Never mind that they made it a little complicated so that, people could be like, well, but they're practicing a religion. I mean, Rebecca doesn't look like she does anything weird. Mike Rinder, comes across real, natural, relaxed, and friendly. Hannah is about to sell you a bunch of cookies, even though she just told you that she knows of 2 babies that were dead and she had no idea where the bodies were dumped because the LAPD was never called. That's where we are right now. Just in case you guys are lost, that's where we are. And meanwhile, there's no mandated reporters anywhere to be found, anywhere in the city of Los Angeles. Apparently, there is no such thing here in the city.
Told them to pee on cars, and they would do it for him because they had to, or
they might be drunk.
He got them drunk, had them pee on cars,
God.
felt them, and I don't know if he actually had intercourse. I don't remember if he actually had intercourse with anyone, but, up to that point, really bad molesting.
Up to that.
What happened? What happened to him?
Well, because he was an OT7, they said they weren't going to declare him officially because it would be bad public relations for people to hear that an OT7 molested children.
Because it would be bad public relations. This has always been a public relations game for them. They like it rough. They like it all the way. They go to the extreme of extremes, purporting that's how they save a world for themselves in whatever way they want to purport that. I don't know, and I don't care. The fact remains that look at the results. Look at the results. Look what's being denounced here. Public relations. It's all just a PR game. Oh, let's just, make sure that nobody knows. And then we just don't have any public relations problems, because we can always send our OSA handlers out to the LAPD. They can always bring an extra set of fruit baskets with them. We could always bring, an extra set of favors with us. We could always, hire them to do nothing, to just pretend that they're patrolling something. But, here's another 10 grand. Here's another 15 grand. Here's another 30 grand. Here's another 40 grand. Here's another 20 grand. We really need people. They have a full blown slave security force, but somehow they need more security. Never mind that anyone protesting them has never harmed them. Never mind that it's always been the other way around. But the LAPD cannot tell that fact either. So they're like, oh, I really have to help them because you know what? Again, their PR arm is working 24/7, 365. But it's also stupid. And look what it's hiding. Look what is hiding right here, corroborating everything that we've denounced so far.
Got declared. So they quietly ousted him from the church. They quietly said he's declared.
But did they report him to the authorities?
No, they never reported him.
Oh, again, look at this pattern that we just found. Doesn't it take 3 to make it a pattern? So when the babies died and no one knows where the bodies were disposed of, and then where Wally was doing all these things to these underage kids that were literally given to him. No police, no LAPD, no Palm Day police. No one was called. That's the only pattern that comes out of this. No one's ever called. No one's ever told. Everything's about PR. They don't give an F. They have it that good. The LAPD has been that soft with them. They treat it like they're infantile little babies. Oh, we wouldn't want to insult your beliefs or anything. We wouldn't want to have the fruit baskets from OSA stop coming. I mean, they are really yummy, those little things that you put in your fruit baskets. We really do enjoy it for ourselves. And yeah, see you at the next council meeting. And see you at your next Christmas stories at Celebrity Center. And yeah, send Marisol Nichols around to, go in a lot more LAPD patrol cars that she's all over the public record, admitting that she, was literally given a lot of rides in LAPD cars. And she's in like Flynn with the top so-called human trafficking top dog of the LAPD. That's literally besties with Marisol Nichols. But you know what? Who cares? I mean, they never call the cops. Third example, what was read at the council meeting today. Where what was the Scientology mom saying? Oh yeah, this is illegal. I know it's illegal. We get subpoenaed all the time. That we run a title company. That all of our computers are subject to be subpoenaed, but somehow they never got subpoenaed. Isn't that great? That those level of admissions were acquired and then everyone just played dumb again. Because who needs to call the LAPD when you give the LAPD the evidence and then they still act dumb? They still play dumb. They still go like, wait, what? Where's the evidence? I don't know. Maybe it was put somewhere here. I don't know. I was distracted. Yeah, they've been very distracted.
At least not to my knowledge. These reports said nothing about it. They said it was a handling. It's like he's been doing this, and what we're going to do is we're going to oust him, but we're not going to officially declare him. We're not going to tell people about it because it's bad public relations because he was an OT7.
What about the parents of the girls who were molested? Did they do anything about this?
I don't know about that. I don't know what happened. One of the girls was in the Sea Org with me and left, and another one of the girls is still a Scientologist. They're all still Scientologists. And the parents probably were told, well, we're ousting him from the church. And that's considered a handling.
So the predators are treated with kid gloves as they are fed underage kids, put them in completely compromising environments, including but not limited to some random Ranch in Palmdale. And when the crimes are discovered, when the crimes are admitted, when the kids come forward, kids with guns, this man, how many allegations are just with Wally? But nothing is reported, nothing is done, nothing is said. The handling is we ousted them. So in Scientology, they write him a little love note. Oh my God, even though we tried so hard to help you save, your eternity, now it's time for you to go. And, we don't know you anymore. Okay, bye. See you later, Wally. Have a wonderful, amazing time. Oh, don't worry about it. We would never report you. Everything you said will stay just between us. I mean, who would want mutual destruction? Who would be incentivized by mutual destruction behavior other than Mike Grinder, other than Wally, other than the mother that really wrote that on herself, admitting all of that with a full straight face? Exactly, Martha. Karen Powell, Emily Armstrong's mom, Gail Armstrong, Mike Rinder. They have a whole PR department. PR is they bury the story, they spin everything, and they go, that's really going to work. And you know what? It has worked because it hasn't been confronted. The stench of it is so hard to digest. There's 35 people here, you guys. I mean, imagine that we're exposing what needs to be exposed, but usually if you speak about drama, that's what gets the numbers up. To the community that's invested in knowing what's going on with the kids, well, here's what's going on. But the awareness can only go so far as people share it, become aware, understand the problem, and stop feeding something that has nothing to do with what's being discussed here, which is severe and is still going on. So if anybody thought this was all gone and wonderful and amazing, it's not.
Incredible.
So this is where there's been no mandated reporter. This is the part that needs to be understood beyond the beyond. This is the pattern of never under any circumstances. Babies end up dead. The police is not called. The bodies are disposed of God knows where, says Hannah. When they found out about Wally, they made sure to move their little PR spin machine to go, let's not have the felon that was abusing all these kids face a shred of justice because that would look so bad on us. That would expose everything that we're doing to the kids. That's how vulnerable these people are. That's why they always act like wounded infantile degenerates. They make themselves the victims faster than anything anyone's head can spin. Oh, I'm the victim. Oh, you're discriminating my religion. You're making me, I want to do whatever I want. You're a bigot. You're a this, you're a that. You're being told the facts. Stop acting like you're some infantile degenerate entitled AF. When you need to be given the facts, you need to wake up to what those are. You need to understand that they're not good, that they're not going to help you to save a world, and that you have put your kids at risk, Scientology parents. And today we've now shown 3 more corroborating examples of that same exact thing. And you know what? There's plenty more to come. So thank you guys all for joining, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye.